Welcome back to the show, Respectfully Inspired with Aussie Films. Today I'm here with Akira. Akira has been my most requested interview throughout all of these games, so I'm super happy I can work you in. Yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself however you want to be introduced.
So those of you back home know me as Player 539 from Beast Games. Those of you that know me personally, my name's Akira. I work at an outdoor aerial adventure park at a ropes course and zip lines. I love being outdoors. I have a lot of Beast lore. If you've watched Jimmy's Mr. Beast YouTube channel, I have a long category of like things I've done in the past. And
Wait, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you are the most reoccurring guest?
there are a couple people that are up there with me, but in prominent roles in the previous challenges, I've probably appeared the most and gotten the furthest out of most people.
So total, how many Mr. Beast videos have you been in?
So let's go down the list. I've been in Last to Fall. I did Last to Leave Circle. I did Last to Take Hand Off Lambo. I did an escape room. I put my hand on $1 million. I did Vegas. And then I also did Beast Games.
So seven videos. And were any of those like solo challenges where you were the whole center of the challenge?
Only one. It was the escape room. That was the only solo challenge I did. All the other ones I competed against other competitors.
All right, so the escape room was solo. Did you win that one?
I did win that one. I won $95K.
$95K, bro.
Yeah.
That's a ball. And how old were you when that happened?
24.
24. So you've
25.
been in the Beast World. How long have you been in the Beast World?
Since 2019.
2019.
Yeah, so a little over 5 years I've been doing this.
Wow. Okay, and you're clearly one of the mainest characters on Beast Games. You've won other Mr. Beast videos. I believe the ratio, I could be wrong, but what I've seen is his videos do about 300 million, and what I'm hearing for Beast Games is about 50 million, although I'm sure it will slowly increase. Have you noticed a difference? Like, I mean, I feel like you're all over the internet with Beast Games. I also wasn't in the Beast world before. Have you noticed like a fame differential from, or just like a recognition differential from the videos to the now?
In the past, I've always had just like random fans that came up to me, whether it was at work or just if I happened to be like walking on campus, they'd recognize me. And it was really cool just to share my story with them.
Yeah.
Since Beast Games came out, I'd say my face has come up more because, I mean, it is like reality TV. It reaches a wider audience versus just strictly YouTube. So I feel like more people will recognize me from Beast Games rather than all my past stuff.
I also just, maybe I'm wrong, but the YouTube videos get more views, but there's not as like as much of an attachment to the character.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, I mean, I haven't seen the video you won at the escape room, so I don't even know. Well, maybe I have seen it and I didn't know it was you, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, you're like a main character, which I guess if you're the only character in a Mr. Beast video, you're a main character, but it's just like, there's an attachment to you. You destroyed the Habibi brothers. You took the Lambo. Like you're the man. Which I mean, you're a lot of people's favorite contestant in the show. How do you feel about that?
It's a real honor because in a game where you're competing against, it's 2,000 people, and for a lot of people to be rooting for you feels really cool. And there's also like with that comes the expectations that like you're gonna play your hardest and do your best for them because whenever I'm back home rooting for someone, I'm investing everything in them. I'm like, I want to see their dreams come true. I want them to win. So like when they do get out of the competition, it's like so crushing because you're like, that was my person. Like I wanted them to go all the way. So when the journey ends, it's like, okay, who's next?
Who's next? Yeah. I think I got to start with the Lambo because I've been seeing all over Reddit, and I agree with Reddit. I don't usually agree with Reddit because it's usually just like excessive hate.
Yeah.
But all these memes where it's like a confused face, or it's like, isn't it a no-brainer to take the Lamborghini and eliminate the 3 people, especially since you're leaving with 10 people anyways? I mean, in the edit, it seems like there's a bit of a conflict in your mind. Was there a conflict, or was it a no-brainer?
So there was definitely a huge conflict because, I'm being offered essentially a bribe to get rid of people, which I told myself at the very beginning, I'm not going to take any bribe to get rid of people. But I was stuck with a choice. Do I make this tough decision to end 3 people's dreams? Or do I destroy this Lamborghini? Because at the time, I'm like, I'm not here for a Lambo. I'm here for 5 million.
Yeah.
But I also know if I don't take those 3 people out, like, we're going to have to do another round. If we don't know what that round could look like, I knew, like, we had to get down to the top 10. People have to go. It's going to get cutthroat. So I'll make that first choice to, get blood on my hands. And, at the end of the day, I still walk home with a Lambo.
So, I mean, but for me, like, I consider myself a pretty moral player. During the 4-person turned down $1 million bribe, I lost on my team by 2 people out of 60 people. And a lot of people have asked me, well, would you have taken the money? And I can confidently say no, but not only would I not have taken the money, there was no amount of money in the world. Like, he could have offered me the whole prize pool, $5 million. I wouldn't have taken it because it was like screwing people over on behalf of taking money. But yeah, I say that, and if I was in your position, I would have taken the Lambo. And to me, the discerning piece of information is the fact that you knew you were going home with 10 people no matter what. So it's like, it's one thing to take a Lambo and screw people, but it's another thing where if you don't take the Lambo and you don't screw people, you screw yourself and you screw your best friends, which makes me just think, even as, like, I'd like to imagine a very moral player, like I would not have taken $5 million at the button game. It's like, I don't see any reason you would ever not take the Lambo, because you're literally screwing your friends too. Yeah.
I would have, like, because at that point in the game, I'd had my mission completed, and I told everyone, for whatever reason, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't think I'm here to win this money. I think I'm here to help someone else. Because throughout the entire game, my whole thing was play the game with your friends, help get them as far as you could. And up until the final 21, I'd had a group with me the whole time. And in the final 21, I felt alone. Like, I didn't have the people that I was closest with the entire time there with me. And so now I'm like, what do I do next? And I kept telling myself, like, out of these people that you see in front of you, who do you think deserves it the most? And for whatever reason, it just dawned on me that, like, there are these, like, Colton.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm here to help him win this money. It's not going to be the player that's, like, the smartest, the most strong, like, just, it's going to be someone random that played the game in a really good way, made a lot of people happy, played with some strategy, and maybe just needs a little bit of help. And I knew, even if it meant sacrificing my game, I would do anything to help him win.
That's so interesting. So are you suggesting, or is what you're saying here that you guys weren't as close as the show made it seem to be, or?
No, because I knew Colton before the game started in Toronto. Like, we were at a hotel together, we met, we played games, and we played strategy games with each other.
Yeah.
And so I could tell he was, like, a smart player. And, in passing, we'd always see each other, but we were never, like, on the same team. Not until the helicopter challenge. When the helicopter challenge came, he wanted to be on my team. Because he knew he probably needed to find someone that was going to be good at some kind of challenge, like, that could win. And he felt comfortable, like, being on my team because he felt like I had a good chance of being able to perform in those challenges. And then from that point forward, it got us a little bit closer. And, throughout the rest of the time on the vacation island, going into the physical mental chance, again, I had 3 people that I was close with, like, closer than anyone else. It was Kendra, Piper, and Cornelia.
Yeah.
And as soon as I lost all 3 of them, I was, like, alone. And the person I knew the most was Colton. So he was kind of, like, there for me when I lost the 3 of them. And, he tried to get my head in the game, like, hey, like, you're still here.
So if all your best friends were gone, then why do you think it was such an obvious pick for you to be captain? When do you think that would go to, like, the most popular person, or?
I think after taking out the common enemy amongst the group, the Habibi brothers, because everyone had mentioned, like, we're keeping our eyes on them.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do something if we can. But no one, it's like, it's one thing to talk the talk. It's another thing to actually do it.
Yeah.
And, I took my shot at them. And I was able to do it. So then, like, a lot of people gained respect for me for that. So once we re-entered the city, my first interaction with a good chunk of people was like, I can't believe you did that thing.
Yeah.
That was the first time I met. Like, I'm at this, like, they just get this first image of me as like this hero.
That's true. You even in that like loser section, because I obviously lost in physical, which was the same as mental chance. That was like the talk of the town was Akira Rex, the Habibi brother. So yeah. I imagine on site it was even like that too. I want to though, because these are all dramatic show things. I mean, I was aware, I wasn't at Red Cubes because I had won the T-Mobile house and people had told me, oh, there's these two brothers. I hadn't met Hazem and Kareem yet. And they said like they spoke in Arabic, which they didn't show in the show. But they said they spoke in Arabic. They agreed not to go. And then they tricked the girl and they kind of bullied her or whatever. And I heard it like once after the challenge and then I never heard about it again until you did the, like called him out. How real was the beef or not real?
So obviously in that scenario, you know, none of us have phones.
Yeah.
We're completely locked away from everybody but who's in front of us. So it's a very social game. You make friendships and meet people constantly. And I heard rumors about what they did after Jeremy's helicopter left. After that fourth one left for the night, I heard rumors from other contestants about what they did. And it was more of in the back of my mind, like something to keep in mind for later. If you get to the island, something to keep in mind on. Like there's these people that did this shady thing or this thing that people don't like. And it didn't sit right with me. So I was like, I'll keep an eye on them. But first goal, get to the island.
Get to the island.
Once I got there, you know, we're all meeting new people and stuff. And my first interaction with them, Hazem lied to me. He just lied about how we met. And I heard all this stuff about them. Yeah. And then he lied to me.
Like he lied about how you and him met?
Yeah, he said that we've met in Vegas. And I was like, huh? Like, I would have remembered that because I was very like reserved. I had like my core group and I didn't really reach out to people outside of that because I knew so many people are going to get out from these games. It's going to be so like a meat grinder. Like people are just going to be going. If I am attached to everybody, it's just going to be like never ending like pain. Okay. So it's like I stick to my people, get them as far as I can. Everyone else is essentially up for grabs. And so when he said that, I was like, I didn't meet you in Vegas. And he's like, oh yeah. And you know, it was just interesting hearing his story about how we met because it was during the flag challenge. Yeah. And then he said like, oh yeah, like my number got reassigned, but he didn't tell me his number at all. And then I find out he's 527. So he was in the same round as I was. Yeah. And so then it was just like, I heard these bad things about you. You lied to me. And it kind of just manifested into me wanting to get them out. Because then I felt like everything I heard in the cubes was true. And so like, it's like a pressure cooker. You hear all these rumors. You hear one thing from another. And I didn't fact check it. I was like, this is the goal now. But
then, so if you found out his number was 527, that didn't make you think you would have been more likely to meet since you were running at the same time?
Maybe. But the other thing too is like, he's got a unique name. I got a unique name. And the other thing too is that he knew my name before he even came up to me.
Yeah. And if you, regardless, memorizing someone's name or not, like I forgot 100 people's names I met. But you know if you see someone. Yeah. It's not like, especially you guys both have unique looks. It wouldn't be hard to
and recognize. And the other thing too is like in the back, like not that I wanted to bring that up as a point, but like a lot of people knew me before I knew them because of past videos. Yeah. And they heard things about me. So like him knowing my name right off the bat is like, oh, you heard about me from someone else. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know how much this is true that you met me because, you know, and so it did manifest into what it was when the opportunity presented itself. I obviously took my shot and, you know, we're well past the beef. Like we're cool. We talked it over. At the end of the day, like it was a game and everything that happened in there, like I wouldn't have changed it, but like it was part of the game.
It was part of the game. Yeah. So, but we should go to that moment though, just a little bit more because that was like, you got a lot of fans in that moment. You know, a lot of people on set, fans on set and in the audience months later. Dude, when people described the moment to me, I mean, the show made it pretty epic, but the way people described it to me was even more intense. They made it seem like you were like, I want him. And then The whole thing with the eyes, like when he comes up and Mr. Beast is like, "Are you gonna blink?" and he's like, "No," like that was really epic. But how were you like in your head? I mean, you had taken a more humble approach in the sense where you said, like, if I go home, I go home. I tried my mission. Like you weren't just like, I'm gonna get him out, but were you like extra nervous because you said those things? Like you're kind of putting a pressure on yourself.
So there was definitely pressure at that point because I knew that, I just did all that talking.
Yeah.
Now it's time to like prove what I'm about. And so once it was my turn, I saw the categories. I knew sports was the one I was going with. It was just all lining up in a way that I was like, I have to take my shot now. This is the moment. Like one of his Z was the first one to go 250, and I was like, that's one of his 3. And then when Hasm went, I was like, that's 2 out of 3. I have to take my shot. This is lining up so perfectly. There's no way. And sports is on the table. It's my best category. It's my turn to pick. So I go up there. I wanted him to know this is why I'm picking you. And so once I called him out, he came up, and I obviously didn't know his sports knowledge. I knew he was a volleyball coach, and he's done volleyball for years, but I didn't know outside of that what else he knew. And at the end of the day, like, it's 50-50. He buzzed in first. Like, I could have said all that. He could have got the question right, and I would have gone home. And then I would just look like lame. But I mean, at least for me, even if I went home, I knew I at least tried.
Yeah.
It would have sucked to go home that way. But with him not getting it right and giving me the opportunity to, because I knew the answer right away.
Yeah.
As soon as Jimmy said with 18, I knew. But I also knew that I wanted Jimmy to read out the question. So I waited before I buzzed in. And not to say that Kareem buzzed in too early, because honestly, with the information we'd gotten at that point, you could put 2 and 2 together. His
guess clearly was answering the question that was at hand. It wasn't like he would have gotten it right if he listened to the rest of the question.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was missing a key piece of info.
So, I mean, we talked about this off camera. They offer you the $50K. In the show, it's only you. And I mean, the way I interpret it, it looks like you're such a like baller that they're like, clearly the most dramatic, the most epic finish. They're like, okay, just for you, Akira, we're going to offer $50K and run it back. Was that just for you, or was it for the other contestants, or how did that work?
So they said from round 4 onwards that it would be rewarded. It would be offered to anybody that did get a question right. So the first 3 went, they didn't get it offered. I was the 4th round. I was the 4th person to go up. So from that point forward, whoever got a question right would get offered the $50,000. You get guaranteed money, but you have to run it back. Even Steven, either of the contestants can go home at this point. And it would be from the same category. You do another question.
Wow.
And then I obviously turned it down because at that point, like, I had been solely focused for like a week now. For the entire time I was on the island, solely focused on get these people out of here. I didn't even think about the $5 million. That was like not even the goal. Insane, right? Because we're playing for $5 million. The goal was get these people out. I had just done exactly what I wanted to do. If I took that $50K, ran it back, and got sent home, it was all for nothing.
Yeah.
And then they continue on in the game.
Well, it worked out for you because you got the Lambo, which is definitely worth more than $50K.
Yeah, that's true.
But you had told me this off camera that no one else took it?
Yeah, so everyone else was still offered it, but no one else took it because, you're guaranteed a spot in the top 25. You're guaranteed a spot that's still going for $5 million. And, at that point, too, like, we talked about, like, people that had money and still in the game, you're going to have a target on your back. 50,000 isn't, like, in comparison to some numbers, it's not that much.
Yeah.
But it's easier to say, I'm going to send that person home because they already have $50K versus someone who doesn't have money. So I'm sure people would rather get a guaranteed spot and not have any kind of target sitting over them.
So I didn't think about it from that perspective. That is very interesting. But I told you off camera that, dude, I was shocked that 5 or 6 pairs of people turned it down because literally, if I was in that situation, when I watched you, I was like, no brainer, I'm accepting that immediately. Because for me, being at like 23, traveling with my podcast, like $50K it's not life-changing money, but it could change my life if it was used correctly. And so it's like, I can take it. I don't have to screw anyone over, which was the big thing I really didn't want to do in the game, was take money and screw anyone over. So I can take it, don't have to screw anyone over, and then I can still
have a chance.
Win.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be upset if I took it and lost, but then I can take it and win and not screw anyone over. Like, it just seemed like a no-brainer to me. Now that you said the like thing about the target on your back, although I don't know how much of a target you would have gotten from 50K, especially if multiple people had done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very interesting. I find it shocking that no one took up that offer.
Yeah, because at that point too, like going into those challenges, we had the winner of the island that was still in the game.
Yeah.
And everyone had said, you know, if they come back, they felt that they should leave the game. They felt like they shouldn't have
Yeah.
I mean, they've obviously fair to them. They went out and did their thing. They won the island. They proved that they're a real good competitor. But some people felt that, you know, they shouldn't also get an extra $5 million.
I mean, well, let's go back to the train. When you blind her up, again, I told you this, but I personally don't think there's a single person who could have been voted captain who wouldn't have picked Mia. Maybe, I don't know how close that trio was. If Moniz, the people who got eliminated with Mia, if they might have saved her, I don't know. But I just think it was the no-brainer answer to anyone who was on the train. And I don't, like, personally don't know why she made it such a big deal. Like, you won $2 million. Of course you want to stay in and play, but I almost feel like Jimmy was setting people up for that because he said the winner of the island gets to stay in the game and they have to carry around the deed and they get the patch on their jersey. And then they also said earlier, if any of the 4 people took the $1 million, they would stay in the game.
Yeah.
So it seemed like there was a lot of opportunity for people to take money and stay in the game. And I wonder if they had thought from like a production recording standpoint, it's going to be like this epic, like revenge or like, I don't know, like when it gets to the train track, it's going to be this epic, like everyone who you don't want to see win more money is just going to get eliminated because they're no-brainers. Although I still don't know if like taking 50K in trivia
would elevate you in that.
Yeah, it would have elevated you to that.
Because it's like, I mean, it would have, there's a number, like if someone did take that $1 million, there's a mix of people that'd be happy because they just got rid of a ton of players.
Yeah.
But then there's also people that are like, they're going to become a pariah. Like no one's going to want to work with them if they think I can't trust that person because they just got rid of 60 people like it was nothing for $1 million. Imagine if there's less offered or nothing offered and they still get people out. Like, so.
Yeah, I imagine it would have been very hard for that person to make it on a helicopter. I mean, I still think they could have done that if it was one of their best friends, but then I don't see them making it past trains. Like, yeah. Well, so going back to the train, said it wasn't a no-brainer, which I find interesting, but then you go to the second decision. Run me through that. Like, you told me off camera this was the most stressful challenge in all of Beast Games. I'm sure people are watching like, oh, he got a Lambo. He's probably chilling, probably having a great time. Why was it the most stressful?
So I knew that once I got to the top 21, I was obviously like in my head for whatever reason. I was like, I knew the chance of winning was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
From day one, we're like, it's such a small glimpse of hope. Like, set expectations, you might not win.
Yeah.
And as we kept getting closer, the dream started to become more real. By top 21, I'm like, I'll be honest, I felt invincible at that point.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've gone through all this luck. I've proven myself in some skill-based games and like things. Yeah. I'm like, I really think I have it in my wheelhouse to go on and win. But then there was something in the back of my mind that just kept saying, I don't think you will. Like, you're here to help someone else win. Like, you're going to use your skill set in some fashion to help propel someone else to it because they're probably more deserving. And so once I got to the trains and I knew that, like, I had so much respect from everyone and they wanted me to be captain, I knew this is a chance to help get your friends further again. And having to eliminate players was tough because you're basically taking away their dreams of going for $5 million. When up until that point, like, I wanted to earn my spot there. And I felt like everyone deserved to earn their spot there. Like, duke it out, 1v1, cut it in half to 20. Like, however it had to go, I'd rather have competed against them versus I'm making a decision in a challenge. So the first three were rough because I didn't know them very well. And, you know, it is a no-brainer to take the Lambo and eliminate 3 people. I could have also eliminated the Lambo, kept those 3 players in, but pissed a lot of people off. Like, they could have been mad that I kept players in.
Yeah.
When number 1 target was on the chopping block and then 2 people I didn't know. Like, we got to get the numbers down. So then in the second round, I had people that professed, like, hey, if you're comfortable going up again, we'll support you. And I knew how tough of the decision was. Like, as much of a no-brainer as it was so tough for me to decide. Because I'm like, I'm basically saying that these 3 people's games are not worth more than this Lamborghini. But I know I need to get people out to get my top 10, like my friends, further into the game, even myself. But I also knew taking this Lambo, you become the next target, you're likely to go home.
For sure.
So I knew at that point, if I don't go up, I'm probably going to be put on the chopping block anyways. So if I step up now and keep making decisions, I can get more people out, get my friends further, and I already know I'm going home. So once the second round came, I voted, I went up.
Yeah.
I won a majority of the votes again. When I picked my 3 people, I told myself I wasn't going to pick between a Tesla and 3 people. I actually was like, if I can save people this time, I will. But then they moved the 3 players in front of the Tesla. And then they called my best friend forward. And then that was like, okay, well, I'm trying to help this individual win the game.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going home. So if I can keep them in, it's a no-brainer decision. I don't need a Tesla. I already have a Lambo.
Yeah.
I'm getting 3 more players out. And then it's 5 people before we're in the top 10.
So, very interesting. Your thought process makes sense. But the audience probably doesn't know this, but whenever you get a prize on Mr. Beast that's not money, you can always exchange it for money, right?
Yeah,
so if you get an island, you can ask for the money value. If you get a Lambo, you can ask for the money value. Was any part of you thinking, like, I know I'm getting eliminated, like, why not just add the money value of a Tesla on top?
I could have, but then there's also like I'm basically, if I've been trying to get my friends as far as I can, and like this person has put their trust in me, and I've said that I want to help them win the most. If I break that, everything I've done in the entire game is for nothing, because it was always get your friends as far as you can, for as long as you can.
So. Okay, well then, what about when he opened the trunk and the 100K was in there? Did you have any heart drop, or what was your reaction to that?
I was shocked that there was 100K in there, but I also knew, like, even if he said there's 100K in there, it wouldn't have changed my mind on the decision. Yeah. Because then it's like I'm saying, oh, a Lambo and 100K, and these 2 people are worth more than my best friend in the game.
Yeah,
interesting. And like, I didn't need more money. Like, a Lambo's worth a lot. I didn't need the money. I knew I was helping him get further.
So then Bethany calls you out and Colton, and you get eliminated. How did you feel? Like, so disappointed? And what did you feel then? Then did you regret the decision?
So I do feel bad, because I feel like me saving Colton and him fighting so hard for me to go back up again painted a huge target on his back. Yeah. And once we got to that point, I knew how tough of a decision it was. So I told Bethany, you know, you can pick me. I offered myself to her. I said, you can pick me. I know I took some of your friends out the game. Yeah. I know this is a tough decision. I don't want to make it harder on you. You can pick me. There's no bad blood. And so I was her first choice. And I fully was accepting of it. I knew I'm going home.
Wow.
But when she called Colton, I was upset, but I was under the assumption it's one person on one side of the track and one on the other. So then I was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to plead for her to get rid of me, save Colton. Yeah. And then they say, Colton, join Akira. And that's when it sunk. And I was like, oh no, this isn't good. Like all that I was just trying to do is get him further, and now he's on the same tracks as me. So not only am I going home, he's probably going home.
Wait, but when she picked Colton, do you think she thought he was going on the opposite track, or do you think she thought she was going to be eliminated?
She thought he was going on the opposite track. She wanted to get rid of me. She didn't think it would be that we were both on the same track.
Okay, well, that changes a lot, because a lot of people think that she, like, they're not mad at her getting you out, especially after winning the Lambo, but a lot of people think that she just, like, was a ruthless person. It was like, yeah, you and your best friend.
No, she wanted to get me out because I got some of her friends out in the previous round.
Yeah.
And Colton was the first number she saw, and it was a no-brainer for her who she was sending home with me.
Yeah.
But then once Colton was on the same side, now it's, okay, well, I didn't expect that. Like, it's just collateral at that point.
So, and did she tell you all this when you lost together? Or?
I mean, when we were picking the tracks, I went to one track and then Colton immediately went to the other. That's what everyone thought. And then they were like, actually, Colton joined Akira. And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh no.
Oh gosh.
So my entire plea was spare Colton, but I knew I was still probably going to be on the chop. I was like, you guys can get me out later, but spare Colton.
Yeah.
But at that point, there was no prize left.
Oh,
the Tesla was gone. The Lambo was gone. We're just getting rid of people.
Yeah.
And so when her best friend got put on the tracks, I knew, to me, it's a no-brainer. If it was me up there, I'm saving my best friend.
You're saving your best friend, but then the like dummy comes out. Maybe this is like extreme hindsight bias, but I feel like, because without the dummy, no brainer, you're picking the other person. But for me, I would have just thought, hindsight bias included for sure. Mm-hmm. I would have thought, if it wasn't me, then anyone could just stand there, which means it's almost certainly me.
Yeah.
Because, like, what are they going to... Imagine, like, let's just say they put a random person under there. People would rage online.
Yeah.
They would be pissed. Like, wait, you're telling me some random person had no idea? They're just standing in the crowd and they just get killed because of it?
Yeah, like their number was just drawn randomly or something.
Like, you would think that they would have to give that person, like, $100,000 or, like, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
So it like, only makes sense to be her.
Yeah, because, like, even the word choice, it's a mystery player. It's not a random player. It was a mystery player.
Yeah.
And, like, you could put two and two together. Like, would you sacrifice these people for your best friend? Would you sacrifice yourself for your best friend?
So you guys made that plea
Yes.
to her, but she obviously didn't.
She had a percentage of belief that it wasn't her.
Yeah.
She was convinced it could be anybody.
Bro, but it just... I mean, it's totally hindsight bias, but
Yeah.
it just makes no sense for it to... Like, people would be so mad online if they just, like, eliminated some random... Because it's like the whole train thing is a social game. Mm-hmm. And so then it wouldn't have been social, and you're ripping someone's chances when they're in the top 20. It would have been like...
Yeah, and there was so much chance and like luck involved in certain points of the games. And if it continued up until that point, then it's like...
Yeah.
Like, we're top 21. We want it to be like...
It would be such a hard conversation because you'd have to go to Courtney or your best friend. You'd be like, hey, I'm like 90% sure that's me under there, which means like, I mean, I consider myself a very moral person, but if I believed it was me, I'd probably save myself just because it's like, I mean, you are there to win, but I don't know. I mean, if you don't save yourself and then if you save yourself and then it's not you, that's horrible too, but.
So even if it was like me getting back up there again, I would have still kept the same routine, get two more people on my lower end of the list. Colton would probably have ended up on the other side of the track, and then it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I would take out the mystery player. Even not knowing whether it was me or not, I would do it.
Like, what if it was just you or Colton?
Like on the tracks?
Like, yeah, he was like, hey, we're going to put you here. And it was like self-sacrifice or...
Yeah, because at that point in the game, I've made it pretty clear that I was going home.
Yeah.
And that I wanted him to win.
Well, why weren't you like amped to try to win $5 million? Just
boggles my mind. I don't know. It was it was just because at every stage of the game, like even like so we'll go back to the just beginning, setting the expectations of like, how are you gonna do this? Like there's 999 other people.
I want to just like comment on that. I know you're about to say something, but like just to back you up on that, I don't think anyone before top 60 was motivated by winning, yes, but the 5 mil, no, like it's still like unfathomable. Not like an amount of money, but just like you don't. The odds are 1 out of 2,000. No one was thinking like, oh, I'm getting close to the 5 mil. It's just like you're not thinking about the 5 mil at all, and then you get to the top 16. You're like, even like you said, the verbiage. Klitzner, who was like the guy who explained the game, so essentially Mr. Beast, but in producer form, he would tell us, all of you are going to lose. Only one's going to win. You're all going to lose. Prepare to lose. Prepare to lose. Don't get your hopes up. And then we get to top 60 and he changes his verbiage. He goes, one of you's going to win. I can say that now. One of you's going to win. We're throwing away the mic. We don't need it. And so, yeah, that was when, just to back you up. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, and it even goes forward to so that at that point it was like, 5 million is off in the distance. Play the game with your friends. Help get them as far as you can. That was goal number one from the get-go.
Yeah.
And every time I'd lose friends, it was tough because, I lost 2 people. I lost one person before we entered Toronto. So then it was 8 of us left. I lost 2 more on the pillars to bribes or self-sacrifice. So there's 6 of us left. Then the 6 of us entered 2 different cubes. Only 4 of us came back. And I kept losing my friends. And I'm like, I've been trying to get them as far as I can in this game. And I keep losing them. So I told myself, I'm going to do everything I can to keep getting them as far as I can. So then when it came to the helicopters, I was really happy because I was able to get their games further in. And then once we did mental and physical, it was very much more individual at that point. I couldn't help them. And when they were gone, I felt terrible.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I was like, I feel invincible. But to what extent is that? Still, there's no way I'm had all this luck. I did all these things to get this far, and then there's no way I can just fully take it. It's not that simple. And so in the back of my head, I was like, I don't know how I get out. I had no idea. I was like, it just doesn't seem like it's possible. I've survived everything that has involved luck. Even the challenges I lost or didn't do good in, I made it through. I don't know how I lose. And then so maybe I was sort of jinxing myself a little bit too. But I also told myself, if you're not the one winning it, you're going to help someone else do it somehow, some way. So I could have played more selfishly. I mean, that was the first thing my family told me is that you do have a big heart, but you're number one. You're there for you.
Yeah.
So you have to play for you. And it just, everything we went through with those people, it changed me. And so I wanted them to win. I just didn't see. And, it goes reciprocated. They wanted me to win too.
Yeah.
But I was batting for them so hard that, maybe it bit me in the butt a little bit at the end. If I played more selfish, it's what if I did X, Y, Z, I could still be in. But it's just not who I am.
You do have a very extensive Lamborghini, which you probably took the cash amount, I'm assuming?
Took the cash values, $200K.
$200K, took the cash value. How do you, I guess this is probably a question people are curious. Does that get wired right away? Does it get wired after the show? Does it get wired after you get it in the show?
So when the episode airs that you won your prize money, that's when it happens. So as soon as the Lambo or the episode with the trolley problem aired, the money was wired to my account.
And so, how do you feel on that day? You're settled down from all the stress. Do you feel just awesome? Or?
It's pretty wicked to see that much money in your bank account and it's weird too because we had $5 million in front of us for so long, and then it became oh, it's just $5 million. It wasn't the shock factor from it wasn't really there. And so even seeing $200K, it's wow, it's $200K. That's that can change someone's life pretty significantly. And I think also because I've had past videos and I've won money, maybe I'm
desensitized.
Yeah, desensitized to it because it is gonna change my life, and I'm gonna put it to good use for my family. Like I want to give back to them, but for me, I don't know. Even like still now, like it's sort of hit me. But I think the tough part also was the way I got it. Just it was so tough to earn it that way. I would have rather earned it in some other fashion, not taking 3 people out who deserve to have a dream, you know.
Is that the largest cash prize you gotten from all the videos?
It is the largest cash prize I've ever gotten.
Bro, it is so crazy how desensitized you come. Because from the very first challenge in Las Vegas, it's like 5 million, and it's just like repeats 5. And, you know, supply and demand, the more you have of something, the less it's worth. Just hearing it so many times, you just get desensitized to it. And then they walk out wads of 50K on trivia, and you're just like, it's so wild. And you know what else you get desensitized to? Those massive cameras. They're like $100,000 cameras in your face, and you just, by like day 3 or 4, you just feel like they're not there. I mean, except when you're doing your interviews. I want to move on past the train because it's like so much we've talked about, but I just got to ask, what were you thinking when Mia like kind of rebuked you for your decision?
I tried to tell her the reason I picked her. Like I tried to make it very obvious that you've won an island. Like I even said it in the show. You've won an island. You're gonna walk away with more than anyone else here, aside from the winner. Yeah, second most money. And so like I feel comfortable taking you out. And I also told her that you are the most fierce competitor here. You've proven it. Yeah. I want my friends to have the best chance at winning. To do that, I need to get out the best competition. Because in a game like that where you can get rid of good competition, like that's also a no-brainer. You want to get rid of the biggest threats to you. Yeah. And, you know, I was working with some players that you could consider big threats as well. And I'd been working with them so long, like I didn't want to betray that trust I had built with them, like that rapport. Yeah. And I entered that trolley problem with people that I didn't know. Imagine if I was close to everybody. Yeah. How would I make any of those decisions? How do I weigh people's value to me if I was close to all of them? Yeah. So it made it easier taking out people I didn't know because I have these 9 friends plus myself that I want to get further. Yeah. So I mean, I think it make everyone watching, everyone on set, eliminating the island winner seems like a pretty no-brainer. But let's just do some fun facts. I think this is always a fun one, but your name is Akira. I think Akira is a very Asian-sounding name. What is the origin story behind your name? So my dad is he's always grown up loving Kung Fu and martial arts. Yeah. He was always a big Bruce Lee fan. There's actually a Bruce Lee poster there. Yeah. They can't see it off camera, but there's a Bruce Lee on the wall. Yeah, so he was always in love with all of that culture. Yeah. And he originally wanted to name me and my twin brother Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. My mom didn't really want to go for that. Yeah. So I kept the middle name Lee. My brother's middle name is Blue. It's their favorite color. And then from the anime Akira, there were 2 names that were really unique, Akira and Kaneda. My twin brother is Kaneda. They changed the spelling a little bit, and then I got Akira. Interesting. And you're not even Asian, right? Nope, half Mexican, half American. Bro, but you look so like your whole vibe makes it look so. Yeah, so that's and that's where the name came from. Akira, it's just so funny because your current hair plus your name just looks Asian. Mm-hmm. What do your brothers look Asian or they look more Latino? I would say more. I think honestly, out of me and all of my brothers, I probably get the most comments about appearing Asian. That's funny. Especially, I don't think with Kaneda they associate it as being a Japanese name. Also because the spelling is different from the actual anime. Yeah. And then the other 2, no, not really. Are you getting any like anime edits on TikTok? No, like nothing specifically anime related. Although a lot of people are saying like, well, this guy went like Super Saiyan or like he's like Goku or like just especially the after the Habibi moment, like being a hero. But nothing. That's funny. So if you did win the $5 million, what would you do with it? First thing I would do, clear all the debt that my family has, student loans, anything that was outstanding, and then I would retire my mom.
Yeah.
From work completely. And I don't know if she would accept it.
Yeah.
But my dad's retired from the military, and he's full time at home now, and she still works really hard, and I would have just loved to be able to have set her up for life, and she could have more time with family and my father as well.
You told me off camera that if you won the $5 million, you would not quit your job.
Nope. I'd still be working at the same place, 9 to 5. I just love it too much.
The adventure theme park?
Yeah, it's an outdoor aerial adventure park. We have a ropes course and zip lines. We have axe throwing, laser tag, and mini golf, and a rock wall. And we basically just have people, they pay to play, so they come in, we facilitate the fun, and it's just a great time. And I get to be outdoors. I work with all age groups. I used to have a fear of heights.
Yeah.
And working at this ropes course, I've sort of gotten over it a little bit. And I also get the opportunity to help other people that have the same kind of fears and help get them to grow as individuals and break through some of those things. So it's very fulfilling for me.
You like it a lot.
I do love it. Yeah.
Would you call it your dream job?
I think it's my dream job. I honestly couldn't see myself anywhere else. Even the entire time I was in the games, I missed it.
Really?
I missed it. I was in all the downtime we had, I'm like, I could be at work right now.
Bro, that's so awesome to be so satisfied in what you do, because with our current culture and comparison and social media, I feel like so many people are not happy in what they do, and they feel like they need to have some crazy job that's glorified in the eyes of others, because we live in a career identity culture, which means when you meet someone, you say, what's your name? And then what do you do? Because we assign value to people's careers. But it's cool to meet someone who's just so loves what they do so much, and it's not about the pay or what, just loving it. Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoy that. If they called you back for season 2, are you coming?
I love competing in challenges and trying these random adventures. Yeah. And I've never said no since I said yes at the very beginning, 2019. So if they called me back for season 2, I'm game. I'll try to win. Having a title of being a Beast Games champion would be the absolute coolest thing in the world.
It would be pretty cool. Have you made best friends from these videos?
Yeah.
Do you still keep in contact with people from the first video you run?
So I've kept in touch with a lot of them. Unfortunately, it's everyone goes through life at different stages, and there was always oh yeah, we're gonna see each other again, we're gonna reunite. And so there was always talks about it, and I think because I was younger, I always felt like I had more time, and eventually it's gonna happen, and it hasn't. And that's one of the bigger regrets I have, is that I haven't taken the time to do that. And I attribute it to also we all have different walks of life, and some of our career paths have taken us in different directions. But after Beast Games, I've made some people that I'm going to always make time for them. Yeah. And I got ski trip planned in March with some of them. Hopefully I'm going to try to see more of them throughout the year, just outside of the games, because we were so closely knit there, but I want to know them from outside of competing. And I think because I'm a little older, I appreciate the friendships more, and I have more value to them, and I want to prioritize having time with them. That's
always the goal for me. I mean, I've never been on something as big as Beast Games, but I did a different challenge with Red Bull, and then I walked across Spain. And and it is so true. I, of all people, try to prioritize my relationships. I mean, for the podcast, but I've already flown to 8, 10 of the different guests. Yeah. But it's so true how you can be so close with someone, and no matter what you do, the distance just, it's not that you'll not be friends. If anyone called me from any adventure I've ever done, I'll answer and I'll talk to them, and but it's never the same as it was when you're spending 30 days, every waking hour on an island in Panama, and it's just never like that again. But I always go on these adventures. I try to seek out these things, not even because I'm like the hugest fan or whatever, but because of the relationships and memories. And even in episode 1, during the $1 Million Bribe, Jimmy asked me, like, you can become a 250,000-aire right now, which wasn't actually accurate because I would be assuming no one else hits the button.
Yeah.
But I was like, heck no, I'm here to make relationships and memories. And they only included the heck no, but like, I'm so happy. I feel like to make it as far as I did and to just have all the friendships, like, I basically won as much as you could win without winning large sums of money.
Yeah.
Which was totally epic. You said, I think you said in your Instagram post or something that it was a dream to always be on a reality TV show.
Yeah, so ever since I was a little bit younger, and my mom used to watch Big Brother, and I would peek into it sometimes, and then I got invested. And so every summer, I always watch as new house guests enter, and I've always wanted to try it.
Yeah.
And so ever since I was old enough to apply, I've applied every year, still haven't gotten called out. But like the idea of like being able to like, because I did sports when I was younger, and you know I wasn't like the best. Like I would say I'm an athlete to an extent, but also I wouldn't say I was like college level, like professional level. Never at that caliber. But I also just really enjoyed seeing how like people performed in these random, just like weird challenges that like even like what Jimmy does. I just always was intrigued by that. So I thought, you know, being on the show would just be so cool because you can just try all these fun things that no one ever gets to. And
is Big Brother like more competition or more challenge based, or? It's
a mix of social and challenge based. And the cool thing about it is that not all the challenges are necessarily skill. Some are physical or endurance. Some are mental. Some are like, there's just a number of factors that goes into them, and so much different strategies you can go into the game with. But it's 3 months, 16 house guests. Each week someone gets voted out.
Oh, it's 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
And it's only one guest gets eliminated a week. Mm-hmm. It's a vote out, or it's not a challenge out?
It's a vote out. So essentially at the beginning of the week, everyone competes to be the head of household.
Yeah.
When you win the head of household, you have immunity for the week, and you get to pick 2 people to kick out. And then there's
the people you kick out don't get eliminated.
No, because there's another challenge called the veto, and that's 6 house guests, the 2 nominees, the HOH, and 3 other random ones. They compete for the power of veto. With the power of veto, they have the option to have their own immunity or save someone that's on the chopping block. If someone comes down, a new player goes up. After the veto's done, the house, aside from the HOH, votes on who to kick out. And so as numbers go down, you know, whether there's alliances or not, there does become a jury, kind of like in Survivor.
Yeah.
At a certain point, the jury members go to the house. So that's where the social game comes in. You want to make sure that, because the jury is going to vote on the winner at the end. When there's 2 people left in the house, the jury is going to decide, based on everything, who gets to win that money.
It's quite similar to Survivor. It sounds like the end game is almost exactly the same.
Almost exactly the same. I would say that it's a different environment.
But it's, it's played
you're
in a house.
Yeah, and you know sometimes they have different twists. Survivor generally, from what I know, they don't have as many significant twists added to their thing. Some of it's just like, you know, once the 3 tribes are dwindled down, there's the merge.
Is your Big Brother your number one choice?
Number one choice. Second would be the challenge. Now this one is way more physical. The challenges are a lot tougher. Like I would say it's like if Big Brother met X Games, like or Fear Factor, like combined.
Interesting.
And it is, yeah, it's a cutthroat and tough competition, but it is really.
Would you go on Survivor?
I would try Survivor. I'm not sure how well I would do, just because. Well, I think I could survive okay, but I think I don't know. It would be an experience for sure.
Survivor was my top choice. I mean, I never knew about Beast Games before Beast Games, so I feel going on season 1 of what's going to be the biggest competition game show, if not already the biggest, which in my head, I always thought that Survivor or maybe The Bachelor was the biggest based on viewership. And I looked up the most viewed episode of Survivor out of all 50 seasons. And I think out of all 50 seasons, the most viewed was 50 million.
Wow.
Which means that Beast Games essentially already surpassed it. I could be wrong, but that's what I found. I mean, I told you this, but because I'm getting memed so hard about watching an episode of Survivor, not that I don't think they don't like each other. I'm sure they take inspiration from each other, but I just thought, like, I was surprised that they put a whole thing about me shouting out. I guess I'm not really shouting them out. I'm saying I can hang because I watched an episode of Survivor.
Yeah.
But I'm like, now I'm going to take that clip and apply to Survivor. And Survivor's the only reality TV show I ever watched. I never watched any other show.
Nice.
So I'm hoping that would be cool to get on it. But I'd love to do season 2 of Beast Games.
Yeah.
I don't know. Big Brother sounds interesting. I've never watched it, but that sounds
It's
like
very, yeah. I've always been a fan of it, and it's cool too because in each different challenge, there are so many different ways you can play them going into the games. Like even the difference between how you play Big Brother versus how you play Survivor.
Yeah.
They're different ways, but also similar. Like you don't want to come out right out the gate as like a player that can win a lot of competitions.
Yeah.
Because then you're first person to go as soon as they get the chance.
Yeah.
So you almost have to like make it so that you win in the right moments.
Yeah,
but then also float by or get people that'll take you.
That's a similar strategy.
It's very it's very interesting. I say they're the two most similar shows because of they're essentially a very similar thing. It's just one's in a house, one is in
is Big Brother still running?
It's still going. This next season will be season 26 or 27.
Oh, so it's a lot more new because Survivor's on like season 50. So
yeah. So every summer they do a new season, and they have different like editions of it. But every summer they do a new set of house guests, or they have like an all-star season.
Interesting. Well, Akira, is there anything else you would have liked to comment on or say that you didn't get to?
Only thing I'll say is that like if anyone's ever back home thinking like I want to try something like that, the first step is to apply.
Yeah.
5 years ago, if I'd never said yes and like reached out and said, hey, I will come out and do this challenge, I would never gone on this journey.
Yeah.
And so like take a gamble, take a risk if you need to, whether it's a new job, maybe a new adventure, or even a game show, reality TV, anything like that. Like if you are wanting to do something like that, don't hesitate to take a chance.
Yeah.
Like put yourself out there. You never know what'll happen. You could go on this crazy journey and meet all these wonderful people.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, I did Red Bull Can You Make It? It was a 1-minute video application for that, and it was a 1-minute video application for Beast Games. And ironically, Red Bull probably had way less people apply, and I thought I put in so much effort into that, and then I saw Beast Games, and I put in such little effort into my video, and got accepted for both. And I just applied to something on Instagram where like I made a video for a challenge to win 10K, and I don't know the results of that, but doing the Red Bull and then the Beast Games Back to Back, it's just like, I think you see these things on TV or on social media and you're like, it's unfathomable that I would ever get picked or ever get selected.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get selected and you're like, I mean, for me, I got back to back selected for 2 different things, and I was like, it just makes things feel so achievable, you know? Mm-hmm. I think people probably want to know, which it's different for you because you got selected 5 years ago and then you've been in the pool, but I'm sure someone would like advice on how to make a good performing video to get accepted. Do you have any tips?
So I'll be honest, I'm not like a character or anything. It's always been just me being genuine. People will root for you if you're just yourself. And, you know, everyone's going to have opinions, good or bad, about your character and what you do in the different situations that you're put in.
Yeah.
But don't try to make yourself something you're not. Just be authentic and be yourself. And, you know, people will see you for you.
That, and what Akira just said is what they told us about 100 times. And that was after we got us selected, but they said, hey, if you want screen time, just be you. Don't be a character. Don't be fake.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a show with 1,000 people, obviously some people getting selected because they played a character or, you know, they went over the top. But like I said, when I said I didn't put much effort into my video, I think part of the reason I got selected is because, like, I literally did not care. Like, I had prayed for an opportunity to make money. I saw an ad, and then I was like, well, he is like the money YouTuber. And I went like this, and I like recorded it. I told my story a little bit, and Toxa submitted it. But I think because I am a fan of Mr. Beast just as a fellow YouTuber. I'm like, whoa, this guy's the GOAT. But I was not like a fanboy. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't like, recording the video like a fanboy. And I think that probably went a long way. But if you are a fanboy, that's who you are. Like I think about Ivy and her application and just like, sorry, Ivy, I love you. You're kind of a fangirl.
Yeah.
But that it goes well if that's who you are. You just got to be who you are.
Yeah, don't try to fake it. There's no need to, like, just be yourself and you'll have a better chance of, that's what they want to see. They want to see the real you. And that's what they want to put out there.
So, I don't think you do much social media, but tell the people where they can find you.
Instagram is Akira_Andrews. All my other socials are pretty much my first and last name. I'm not a huge content creator. I just happen to participate in these challenges and do these.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at getting pretty far.
People like you, bro.
Not winning usually, but at the end of the day, I am a competitor at heart, so I'm always going to go out there and give it everything I got. And, anytime I get out of these challenges, I walk away with my head held high because I gave it everything. That was the most important thing.
Yeah.
Win or lose, if you gave it your all, you can walk away with your head held high.
Dude, you're a fan favorite. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for making the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, let's see how long we went.